بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شأن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان سنفرغ لكم أيها الثقلان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now addressing, he's going from the bounties of this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the numerous blessings that he has bestowed us with, and now he is turning towards the akhirah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now going towards the akhirah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, he's still addressing us in a different way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ, that every single being that is upon it, that is upon earth, whoever is on it will perish. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ, that every single insan, every single haywan, every single animal, every single jinn, fanin, it is temporary. It's going to perish. Halik. We are all temporary. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, and the wajh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the wajh and your Lord's countenance, wajhu rabbik, and your Lord's countenance will remain. The reason why these scholars do not translate it to face, although wajh in Arabic is face, wajhul rajul, face of a man, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not like us creation, and if you translate, then you get the sense of another understanding. That's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to say. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about his countenance, meaning the being of Allah will remain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's being will remain, dhul jalali wal ikram, full of majesty, full of honor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about his greatness here. No one loves to be praised as much as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising himself here, telling us that we will all come to an end. We are nothing. كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. Everyone besides Allah, that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, أَصْدَقُ كَلِمَةٍ قَالَهَا شَاعِرٌ, the most truthful speech that any poet has ever uttered. Another variation, the best speech that any poet has ever uttered is the speech, the poem of Labib. Labib was a very famous poem in the Arabs. أَلَا كُلُّ شَيْءٍ مَا خَلَى اللَّهَ بَاطِلُ. That, listen carefully, everything besides Allah is batil, is null, is void, is error. أَلَا كُلُّ شَيْءٍ مَا خَلَى اللَّهَ بَاطِلُ. And then he continues and he says, وَكُلُّ نَعِيمٍ لَا مَحَالَةَ زَائِلُ. And every blessing that is there, this will also disappear. Uthman radiallahu anhu, he corrected him, he said, you've lied. And he said, Jannah never ends. He says, Jannah never ends. But nevertheless, the bounties of this world will come to an end. But this first line here, Rasulullah ﷺ is referring to in the hadith of Bukhari and others, the most truthful statement that everything besides Allah is zero. Imagine we live with this. Imagine we live our lives with this feeling, with this thought on our minds at all times, that everything besides Allah is secondary. Everything besides Allah is secondary. This is not something that is odd. Rather, Rasulullah ﷺ, he tells us this is the state of the believer if he wants to taste the sweetness of Iman. Right? In the beginning of Kitab al-Iman of Bukhari, he brings the narration that a person who loves Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than anything else. Very eloquent. Rasulullah ﷺ, Allah's speech is very eloquent. You know, I was going through the tafseer of this just before I came to the program. The tafseer was just going and going. I just closed. I said, that is too much. It's going. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. How many pearls are pouring out of these ayat? Right? And it gets so academic that if I start talking about it here, then those that are still not snoring yet will also fall asleep. So the pearls are just pouring. What Allah is talking about, what Allah is referring to. So Rasulullah ﷺ is telling us that when Allah and His Messenger become more beloved to us than anything else. He didn't say anyone else. He didn't say anyone else. Why? Because we love money. Money is a thing. It's not someone. So more than anything else, when Allah and His Messenger are at the top of the list. When Allah and His Messenger are at the top of the list, more than our wives, more than our children, more than our spouses, more than money, more than wealth, more than name, fame, Allah and the Messenger are at the top, then we will actually get an enjoyment of Iman. Until then, we have to strive. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. These words here, ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ, are very powerful. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us in a narration of Ahmad, أَلِظُّ أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم بِذَا الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ بِذَا الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Hold fast onto this statement. Hold fast onto this statement, meaning utter it a lot. يَا ذَا الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. O the one of grandeur, O the one of greatness, ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ, the one full of majesty, the one full of honor. When you heard one Sahabi radiallahu anhu mention this, he said, after this, ask what you want, it's going to be granted. So when we start our du'as, right, we should start with the hamd of Allah, the praise of Allah, Allahumma lakal hamd. And then, Ya dhal jalali wal ikram. And then, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. And then we ask for our needs of this world and the akhirah. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, so which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny? Meaning, if this is me, if this is who I am, Allah, everything besides me will perish. Everything besides me had a beginning, will have an end. So now, which of the bounties of mine can you deny? You can't. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَسْأَلُهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. يَسْأَلُهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. That everything, all those in the heavens and in the earth, they beseech Allah for their needs. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ. Allah says everything praises Allah, makes the hamd and the tasbih of Allah, but you can't understand. Rocks, they praise Allah. The trees, they praise Allah. The birds, they praise Allah, but we can't understand it. Allah says everything in the heavens and in the earth, they beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning everyone is in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They all are seeking His help willingly and unwillingly. Willingly and unwillingly. Meaning those that don't believe in Allah, they are also seeking the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they're not willing. So everything is dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the Jews of the past, they said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He takes a break. He takes a break on Saturday. He relaxes. Allah doesn't do anything. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refutes their statement. كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Every day Allah is in the state of action. Every day Allah is taking care of matters. Every single moment, at every single moment someone is dying, Allah is giving birth to, someone Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking away, someone Allah is giving health to, someone Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking health away from them. This is the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At every moment, كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Every day He's in the state of action. And for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Sufyan ibn Uyayna rahimahullah, he says, for Allah there are 2 days. Time according to Allah is 2 days. One is the day of this world. This whole world for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's like 1 day. It's like 1 day according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the next day is the day of judgment. The next day is the day of judgment. So كُلَّ يَوْمٍ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being involved, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being involved at all times. So this means the muddatul dunya, the complete time of this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is his sha'n, his business, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being involved, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving life, He's giving death, and then the second day is Yawmul Qiyamah. And the sha'n of that day, the sha'n and the job and the affair of Allah on that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions it in the next verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions it in the next verse. So كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. At all times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is busy. At all times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in a sha'n. مِنْ شَأْنِهِ أَنْ يَغْفِرَ ذَنْبًا. That He is at times forgiving a sin. وَيُفَرِّجَ كَرْبًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is finding a way out for someone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is elevating someone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is debasing someone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is accepting dua. So the scholars, one of the scholars, he mentions it very beautifully, that Hussein ibn al-Fadl was asked about, isn't it the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already written everything until the day of judgment? Whatever will occur is already written by Allah. So how is He involved at all times? How is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times involved in a matter? Then he replied, شُؤُونٌ يُبْدِيهَا لَا شُؤُونٌ يَبْتَدِيهَا. He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being involved in matters is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala making apparent what has already been written. It was commanded, it was written, for example, that at this time there will be a tsunami here, there will be an earthquake here. Then at that time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it apparent. It's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing something new that was not written before. Everything has been written, but Allah being in a sha'n at all times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being in a state of action at all times, is Allah making apparent, manifesting to us what was already written. جَفَّ الْقَلَمْ بِمَا هُوَ كَائِنٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Yes, the pen has dried up for everything that will occur until the day of judgment. But what will occur, Allah is at all times making that apparent to us. So it's the same Allah that was there in the time of Rasulullah, the same Allah that was there for Sahaba, the same Allah that was there for the prophets. It's the same Allah. We have changed. We have changed. Human beings have changed. Insan has changed and is disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ Which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny? سَنَفْرُغُ لَكُمْ أَيُّهَا الثَّقَلَانِ But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, as for the statement that Allah will become free, Allah is free on the day of Saturday, Allah he chills back and He doesn't do anything? No. سَنَفْرُغُ لَكُمْ As for becoming free and to spare ourselves, soon we are going to spare ourselves for you. For you, O two heavy species. Meaning, the species of jinn and mankind. The species of insan and jinn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually mentioning us too, because the earth was created for us. The earth was created for us. So when you put something on something, it becomes thaqil. Thaqal means heavy. So, O you two heavy things, meaning O you two insan and jinnat, because the earth is like an animal, like a conveyance, and you are on it, you walk on it, you live on it. Everything else is alawa, is besides the point. Everything else is not important. The main two creations of Allah are jinnat and insan. So Allah says, أَيُّهَا الثَّقَلَانِ O you two heavy species of jinn and mankind, we are going to spare ourselves for you. Meaning on the day of judgment, nothing else will be our business besides your reckoning. Ibn Abbas says, this is a warning for us. This is a warning from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for insan, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will attend to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will attend to us. So we have to take heed of the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and prepare ourselves for that day. Because فَإِنَّ الْيَوْمِ عَمَلٌ بِلَا حِسَابٍ. Right? Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu says, حَاسِبُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسَبُوا. Right? That you take account of yourselves before your account is taken. Because today we can do actions. Today we can perform good deeds. Today we can come to the masjid. Today we can perform all of our salats. There's no accountability. You can also sin. There's no accountability today. Meaning you won't be held accountable today. وَغَدًا حِسَابٌ بِلَا عَمَلٍ. But tomorrow, it's only hisab. On the day of judgment, it's only accountability. It's only accountability. Oh Allah, please, one more good deed. No. The time for good deeds is gone. So this is the time for good deeds. This is the time, the short life that we have. This is the time to build connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through amal salih, through good deeds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to prepare ourselves for that day, the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue talking about that day throughout the rest of the Surah Ar-Rahman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the ability to practice upon what has been said. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.